Hello, welcome to Sportsbet TV. Paul Alster here with you once again as we move on through Royal Ascot and look forward now to day 3 on Thursday, Gold Cup Day, Ladies' Day at Ascot. Always a terrific side, even with a much reduced crowd. I'm sure it's going to be quite a spectacle. It's great to have you with me, of course. If you're new to the service, then do remember to press the subscribe button just below this YouTube box, and then you'll be able to follow all the bulletins. They're free, and you'll be able to consider my advice alongside your own thoughts when you're looking for good value bets, both here for Royal Ascot and, of course, going forward. Over the last 9 or 10 months, we've had a great time of things overall, winning some good races at very big odds. And I'm not normally tipping horses that are going to be short prices. So I'm nearly always looking for each way value. And that once again will be the theme for my day 3 selections on Thursday. But this bulletin being recorded Wednesday lunchtime. So we're still in the dark as to how the day 2 quartet of selections will have gone on. But what about day 1? Tuesday was a little bit low-key for us. It started off okay. Lord Glitters ran very well, I thought, in the Queen Anne Stakes. I wondered if there might be much pace on. I was hoping that one of the Aidan O'Brien pair might have really gone on and made a proper gallop of it. But it was a bit of a dawdle early. As expected, he finished very strongly, just missing out on 3rd place. He was a very close 4th. I heard them mentioning on ITV that some bookmakers have paid 4 places. I didn't see that, but if you were on for the 4th place, then that would be very good. There would be a small profit. Otherwise, I'm afraid we just hit the crossbar there. But not so in the second recommendation on Tuesday. Massetto, who was a very close 4th in the Coventry Stakes, he ran a cracking race for Donnacha O'Brien. He's a really good colt, and he gave us a proper shout there, I think. And nearly all firms were paying 4 places, so that was a nice each way. I'm afraid La Barossa ran very poorly later on in the afternoon for Charlie Appleby. Ran very free early on in the race and never really looked likely to take a hand in the finish. But I must say that Just Hubert in the Ascot Stakes, who was my 4th and final selection Tuesday, I was sitting pretty really quite happy with the way he was going. And indeed, I noted that on the exchanges as they turned for home with 2 to run, he was trading briefly as favourite. But unexpectedly, he failed to pick up a horse who's won over the trip before, loved the ground, but on Tuesday, he just didn't find any extra. And I was really quite disappointed with that effort. I thought turning in, he's going to be at least in the first 4, and he had a good chance of winning, but it didn't come to pass. Such is Royal Ascot. It is not easy. Well, we're hoping for a little bit better luck on Wednesday. I'm going to take you straight on to my first selection, which is in the opening race of the day. You won't have to wait long for some interest, and it's in the Group 2 Norfolk Stakes, due off at 2:30. It is, of course, for 2-year-olds over the flying 5 furlongs. Now, Aidan O'Brien has a fascinating runner here called Cadamosto. This horse has been declared 7 times in Ireland over the last couple of months, and he's been a non-runner 6 times. Either because of the ground, they've been very, very keen to avoid easy ground, and a few times because he hadn't eaten up or something. I think they've just been waiting for the right opportunity. He won at Dundalk on debut, is very highly regarded, and I'm sure he's going to be there or thereabouts, Cadamosto, even though the market signals as of Wednesday lunchtime aren't overly positive, even though he is prominent in the betting. Along with the 2 American raiders, Lucci and Nakatomi, both of them showing very good form, winning their only starts and likely to show huge pace and then try and hang on in the closing stages. Wesley Ward's runners on Tuesday, I'm afraid, were rather disappointing. So I'm going to skip over them, even though I could maybe be skipping over horses that might go on and figure very prominently. Now, Go Bears Go is interesting for David Loughnan, a winner over course and distance, but on soft ground. Now, do remember that Wednesday, it's still meant to be decent weather, and I'm sure it'll stay nice and bright. But Thursday, they're expecting a bit of rain, maybe a lot of rain. There are thunderstorms forecast in the Berkshire area. And if they hit Ascot, the going could change significantly. So with all my bets, do bear that in mind and use your judgment if the ground has changed dramatically. Well, it was soft ground when Go Bears Go won over course and distance on his only start, so he won't mind the rain for sure. Project Dante, he won at York on debut for Brian Smart, who I always respect. He's a fine trainer. And Clive Cox has Instinctive Move, who was quite impressive when winning at Bath. And William Haggis has a horse called Second Wind. It's won both its starts at Yarmouth and Salisbury. So as usual, lots of horses open to huge amounts of improvement. These are just babies who are just setting out on their careers, and some of them are going to progress very fast indeed. My choice, though, is an Irish raider, a horse called Twilight Jet, trained by Michael O'Callaghan, who's a young Irish trainer, really making a name for himself. And Lee Roach is the jockey on board, a very capable rider. Now, this horse was third on debut to Andreas Vesalius, who I think is going to be taking his chance also on Thursday. That was at Naas in May. He then was stepped up to Group 3 company at the Curragh, where he finished fifth behind the very highly regarded Castle Star, still looking rather green. But the penny dropped earlier on this month, on June the 1st, actually, at Tipperary. I was broadcasting that particular meeting, and I thought he was really impressive, powering home on the near side with a very long raking stride to beat Harmony Rose. And I believe that this expected strongly run 5 furlongs is really going to suit this colt, who's by Twilight Sun. And the interesting thing about this horse is that he cost 28,000 euros as a yearling. But when they sent him to the Breeze Up sales, he was so impressive in the way he moved that he went for 210,000. So that's about 8 times at least what he cost as a yearling. I think this is a horse with a future. I'm hoping the future will be on Thursday at 2:30. When I picked him out last night, Tuesday night, he was 25 to 1 each way with a number of firms, but that has gone and there's obviously been money for him. He's now available at 16 to 1, and it wouldn't surprise me if that price is also taken. So if you get the chance to take it, then step in. Although, of course, you'll find that many of these horses do drift back once bookies start to try and balance their books. And if you're new to the service here, regular viewers will know I always say try and shop around for the best value. And if you can, find a bookmaker that is going to offer you a best odds guaranteed deal, whereby you get the starting price if it proves to be bigger than the price you take. So race number 1 for me on Thursday, the 2:30 Twilight Jet each way in the Norfolk Stakes at 16 to 1. Now, my second choice is going to be in the 3:40 race, which is the Ribblesdale Stakes. This is for the 3-year-old fillies over 1.5 miles. 13 runners expected to take part. It's Group 2. And I think there's a good favourite here, Noon Star, who won really nicely at Wetherby, where Loving Dream was some way behind and will reoppose on Thursday. It then was favourite at York for the Musadora, but found Snowfall too good for it. And of course, that form has been well and truly franked by Snowfall's demolition job of the opposition in the Oaks. So definitely the one to beat, Noon Star, I would say. For Sir Michael Stout and James Doyle. But of course, there's no such thing as a good thing in racing, and there are plenty of others that you can give a chance to. Now, Divinely of Aidan O'Brien's went on to be third in the Oaks. That one was beaten 18 lengths, though, so although it was third, it was beaten a long way. Eshada is one that I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in, along with Gloria Mundy, who beat her neck in a listed race at Newbury in May. They're both open to lots of improvement. And Johnny Murter sends one over from Ireland called Annaville, who I was quite impressed with when it won at Leopardstown recently. But my choice here is a horse trained by David Simcock on the mount of Jamie Spencer, and this is Ad Infinitum. Now, a really interesting sort, Ad Infinitum, and in a similar vein to Twilight Jet, its price from being a foal through to its Breeze Up price, well, in this case, it all but quadrupled. It's a daughter of Golden Horn, cost 55,000 guineas, but went through the Breeze Up sales at £210,000. So obviously had the looks and the presence and must have moved really well in order for connections to purchase this for 210,000. pounds. Now, it made its debut at Kempton in a 1 and 3 furlong maiden in December. The 50 to 1 shot, it was only beaten a length and a half, stayed on really well in the closing stages and was quite an eye catcher. And then after a 5-month break, David Simcock, who's such a good judge, he wasted no time at all just on its second run, stepping it up from being beaten in a maiden to contesting a listed race, the Height of Fashion Stakes at Goodwood. It was soft ground, it was made the 21st, and it was given a peach of a ride by Jamie Spencer, who's one of those Marmite jockeys who people either love or hate. I'm a huge fan. I think he's just a delight to watch. He's got such a racing brain. He's also a very smart guy to talk to as well. From my time as a racing journalist, I can tell you he's one guy that you do like to sit down and talk to because he talks a lot of sense. Well, he gave Ad Infinitum a lovely ride at Goodwood, as usual, sitting very quietly towards the rear of the field, giving her loads of confidence and then picking them off as he cut through the field. And he hit the front of furlong out and then stayed on really strongly to win, I thought, in a very impressive fashion. And I'm a bit baffled, to be honest. It happens quite a lot these days, but I'm even more baffled than normal that Ad Infinitum, at the time of this recording, Wednesday lunchtime, is still available 25 to 1 each way for 4 places. Now, either I've missed something and people think the form's not up to much, or maybe they think that the faster ground will be against this filly, but she's a golden horn, so it shouldn't be a huge issue. And also there's rain forecast, so I do think she's going to go really well Ad Infinitum, and I think Jamie's going to give her plenty of time and then hopefully pick them off and come through. And if there's anything left, maybe kick on and give us something to really cheer. So Ad Infinitum, 25 to 1 each way for 4 places in the Ribblesdale Stakes, which is on Thursday at 3:40 on day 3 at Royal Ascot. Now then, onto one of the big handicaps of the week, the Brittania Handicap, which is the 5 o'clock race on Thursday. 30 runners over the straight mile, all 3-year-olds. Loads of them sure to have been plotted up. Loads of lights being hidden under various bushels. And the draw, I think, is going to be interesting here. We saw on day 1 that the high numbers appear to be favoured as anticipated, but when it rains as anticipated, if it rains, that could level things off a bit. And as I did for the Royal Hunt Cup for Wednesday's racing, I'm going to split my stake here. So instead of the notional £10 each way on all my selections, this time £5 each way on 2 in this huge field of 30. Now, my first choice, and again, I couldn't believe this, maybe I've missed something, but as regular followers will certainly know, I've often put up horses at big prices that appear to have no chance, and they've gone and won at very big odds, 66, 80 to 1, plenty of others at 20 and 25s and so on. The horse in question is called Akmam, who's trained by Brian Meehan and the mount of Dane O'Neill. Now, he's a very unexposed horse who's got a high draw. He won on the debut at Ascot over 7 furlongs in September, and he looked a really nice horse. He was then 5th on soft ground to 1 ruler in the Group 3 Autumn Stakes, only beaten about 4 lengths, running rather green. And he is a big strapping horse, so I just thought the horse would do better as a 3-year-old. And I think if there is any rain, it's going to help him. They run him in the Craven Stakes, which was a sign of how much they rated the horse. He didn't really perform there at Newmarket that day behind Master of the Seas, but he was sent off only a 15 to 2 chance. And I think they have an opinion of the horse that suggests he does have the ability. Now, very interestingly, he's got blinkers on the first time, which can be transformational, as I'm sure most of you will know. He's also going to be fitter than he was first time out. He's got a good draw, I believe. And on his handicap bow, he's been handed a mark of 100, which is by no means a giveaway. But I think it does reflect the fact that this horse has shown overall some very good form. And that's why I'm quite surprised to see that there's a general price on offer as of Wednesday lunchtime at the time of recording this bulletin of 50 to 1. Now, in these huge handicaps, very often the rank outsiders, as he is, can drift further. It wouldn't surprise me to see 66, 80 to 1. Maybe somebody put the head above the parapet and go 100. So keep your eyes out for a really big prize for Akmam. Now, my other choice is a horse called Grid. He's trained by Joseph O'Brien, is the Mount of Shamey Heffernan. He was a 180,000 guinea yearling by Sayuni. He had 3 runs at 2, including he was a 4 3/4 length fourth to Bolshoi Ballet, who of course went off favourite for the Derby. That was in a Leopardstown maiden. He finished a very solid third in a Naas handicap on the 26th of April. And then on yielding to soft ground at Cork, last time out, he won really easily. I mean, take a look for yourself if you're able to see the playback. He was a very, very easy winner there. He beat a horse of Aidan O'Brien's called Handel and ran away with it. Now, he has a mark of 92. He's drawn in the centre, which I think might be a fair draw. And if they've seen by 5 o'clock on Thursday that the draw has levelled up, you never know, he might even follow them over towards the far side. I do believe he's improving very fast indeed. As we know, Joseph can really train them and Shamey can definitely ride them. So 22 to 1 each way at the time of recording, with the likes of William Hill and Bet Victor and Genting Bet and a few others, may go bigger. But those are my 2 against the field in the Brittania Handicap. Akmam for Brian Meehan and Joseph O'Brien's Grid. And I'll move you straight on now to the last selection of the day. And this is in the 5:35 race, often a red-hot handicap, the King George V handicap for 3-year-olds only, over 1.5 miles, 19 run. I'm sure most firms will be paying 5 places. Some will pay 6, I would expect. And it is such a hard race to get a handle on because there are 11 last-time-out winners and others that have won previous to their last races, loads of them unexposed. But I have to say, and I can't say it any other way, that my choice here is my best bet of the first 3 days of the meeting. And this is Sir Lamorak, who is trained by Aidan O'Brien and the Mount of Ryan Moore. Now, in fact, he is one of my principal bets of the week, so I'll be really disappointed if he doesn't run a huge race. I've had a look at this horse and I've had a look at the race, and in my view, I think he should be quite a warm favourite. So I'm very pleased at the odds that are currently on offer. He's a colt by Camelot. He's out of a mare called Simply a Star, who's a really well-bred mare. She comes from the family of both Galileo and one of my all-time favourite horses, See the Stars. Now, he showed a lot of promise in 2 runs last season at Leopardstown and The Curragh in good company and maiden company. And then he came out on March the 26th, did Sir Lamorak. He ran freely and was a bit of a monkey, but he still managed to win a Dundalk maiden over 1.25 miles in good style. And then a couple of weeks later, they sent him to Leopardstown for a pretty good handicap over 1.25 miles. And you really must try and watch this race because he was last as they turned the final bend and headed for home. But he absolutely took off. Once he was given a tap behind the saddle, this horse really quickened and he ran away with it, looking very, very impressive. Now, he runs here off a mark of 100, which of course is quite a high mark. But of course, Sir Lamorak was amongst Aidan O'Brien's horses being seriously considered for a run in the Derby. In the end, they decided not to go there. I'm not sure why. Maybe they thought a mark of 100 for a good handicap at Royal Ascot, the potential Royal Ascot winner, was just too good to be missed. And that really is my view. I do think that given all the other runners in the race, so many that could become good horses, maybe better than handicappers, I do think this is a horse who, had he run in the Derby, would have run well. And so I'm saying that off a mark of 100 in this handicap, I'll be really disappointed if he doesn't go very, very close to winning. Now, at the time of the recording, as of Wednesday lunchtime, there's still 5 to 1 each way available with Bet365 for 4 places. And I'm happy to take that. I'm sure he will probably drop in price, but then he may well drift again because they're sure to come and try and back something against him and maybe 1 or 2 others. But Sir Lamorak with Ryan Moore on board, he's the one that I shall be waiting very, very seriously for on Thursday at 5:35. But he's the fourth of my selections, and I do think the others are all going to run well, and I'm hoping that we may well be able to hit the target a time or two. We shall see. It's up to you. It's your decision. You can consider these and discard them and think I'm talking rubbish, or you can decide to do a few doubles and trebles for small money in a patent or a Yankee or a Lucky 15 or whatever else is your bet of choice. Do remember, though, the bet that the bookies fear is the single. That's the one they fear, because they know how hard it is to get 2 winners, 3 winners, 4. Okay, we got a huge prize treble a few weeks ago at well over 1,000 to 1, but the bookies always fear the single. But it's always nice for those of us that like to play for smaller money to try and just combine them a little bit and hope for the best. Anyway, I'm hoping for the best for Thursday. Enjoy your racing, and let's hope we have a good shout, and I'll look forward to bringing you my bulletin Thursday afternoon for Friday, which will be day 4 of the Royal Meeting. So for now, from me, Paul Alster at Sportsbet, I'll say goodbye. Have a great day. Bye for now.